Love this podcast? Support this show through the Acast supporter feature. It's up to you how much you give, and there's no regular commitment. Just hit the link in the show description to support now.
These marriages are not perfect, but all in all, they seem to work. Marriage is an institution for grown-ups.
It's like a love-hate relationship.
There are no bosses in a modern marriage. He knows he's lucky to have a wife.
Morning, everybody. It's episode 45 of Husband and Wife Sentenced to Life, the Bristol Diaries, and it's Friday 24th, just coming up on 8 o'clock in the morning, 12 degrees outside. We are sitting, the sun has literally just breached the horizon, dew-covered grass, blue skies. It's a beautiful morning, the birds are singing, and accompanying me as always is Lorra. Morning, who we've just sat down and as soon as we hit record has burst into tears, filled with emotion, as will become apparent when we talk about yesterday. So, what's the vibe this morning, sweetheart?
I don't know. I think we'll talk through yesterday, but I was alright yesterday. I held it together.
You did. Funnily enough, though, this time yesterday morning you were like this.
I think... No, but I didn't know how I was going to be yesterday. But Leo was so excited from the moment he got up. And then I think I was just on doing things mode throughout
Business
the day.
mode, weren't it?
Yeah.
We both were. Got into business mode. I had a couple of moments throughout the day, as we'll discuss. But it felt like a very businessy day.
Yeah.
And certainly felt a lot more like the day I expected compared to the day I think Leo expected yesterday to be like.
Yeah, maybe.
So, we'll get to that. But this morning, what's the
what
feeling?
Am I feeling? I think maybe reality's kicking in a bit. I don't know. I've not slept very well. I've had that. You know, I've been checking my phone all night.
Yeah.
And then I had that thought of, I don't know anyone he's with.
Nope.
So if I need, if I needed to contact him or somebody needed to contact me.
Yeah. I think we need to do that.
That they can't. And, and I know I'm not expecting to hear from him every day or anything like that. But I think maybe last night I expected to hear from him, like perhaps last thing or...
Well, it's typical boy pig-headery, isn't it? This is not a reflection on him. This is boys in general. What boys do at this point in their life is they totally ignore parents in general, but definitely they totally ignore how much the mums do for them. And all they think about is themselves. And he could, as we'll discuss, he could not wait to get rid of us yesterday, no matter what we were doing for him.
No, I know. And I think I just, I sent him that last message, I just sent him a message, that last thing at night. Just to, hope you've had a great day, blah, 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 and love you lots kind of thing. And I didn't get a reply.
I didn't know you'd sent that. He didn't reply to that.
No, this is just before we were sort of settling down, about 11 o'clock-ish. I assume he was probably still awake.
Yep.
But yeah. So then I think that added to that fear of, if something happens. And I know that's he's 18 and I've got to let him go thing. But, obviously first night I'm gonna worry.
Yeah, and first night he should have replied to your message.
But also just, we're leaving here in a couple of days, and I keep thinking about things that I should have said. And
well, it's not like you're never going to see him again.
no, I know that. But it's like...
You've done enough, and I think this needs to be said, right? And I don't want to seem like the emotionless flat one here, but
yeah, no, I know. It's
you've shown him enough emotion. The pair of us have constantly on this trip been saying, oh, this is the big one, this is the big move, this is the big drive up to Bristol now, this is the drive into Bristol.
I know. Listen, it's things like...
All his thought is, I've got to get to pub when we're mates.
But it's like, I wish we'd spent our time together differently, which I know...
But it wouldn't have been any different.
No, but I've got that going through my head, and then I've got, like... that thought of when we get back to Dubai and I walk past his bedroom and he's not going to be in there anymore, and I know all these things probably sound stupid to somebody listening, but
I don't think they're going to sound stupid at all. It's a massive deal. You were expecting this. It's a massive deal, but and you're not going to get the closure from him because it's not his job to give you the closure. Yes, what he's doing through adult eyes, he's selfish and self-centred, but through 18-year-olds' eyes, and we've done really well with both him and Honey to have kept them close through the teenage years, and for the large part, they've not been... I mean, Honey's done her level best, but they've not been the snarkiest of teenagers, especially Leo. In more recent years, since he got his girlfriend, since he got a little bit more attached to his phone, he moved away a little bit. But I think we're just starting to see the beginning of that snarkiness, so it's almost come as he's leaving, which I think most people witness a lot earlier.
And I got it a couple of times yesterday from him.
Well, I want to talk about that as we go through to yesterday.
But yeah, it's and I know people have talked about when it's your first, it's the hardest. When it's your last, it's the hardest. When
yeah. Oh, of course.
And then we met his flatmate's mum, one of his flatmate's mums, and I was chatting to her, and she's in a similar position, that it's her first, her boy, but she was saying he's only an hour 15 minutes down the road, so she said, we'll probably be back up next weekend.
Yeah.
Which, yeah,
I understand that.
That's not,
Well, look, you're kind of messing up the chronology of yesterday's podcast.
Well, you asked me to speak, and
I'm sitting here and I've got two feelings of, one, this is ruining my version of today's podcast, and two, I feel really sorry for you, in that order. So look, let's rewind a bit. Yesterday morning. Yeah. And Leo only ever does what he did yesterday morning when it's something for him, right?
Yeah.
He gets up out of bed first. For the rest of the year, both he and you treat it like he's got a bona fide medical condition that he doesn't have to get out of bed, right? And we tiptoe around until he gets out of bed. But then there's a couple of things, like when he had to do his university room selection or hall selection or whatever it was, he's up about 6 o'clock in the morning, fresh as a daisy. Yesterday he did the same thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
So we come down here to record podcast, and you came out and said he's already in the shower. He's up, he's fresh, can't wait to go. He was actually a nervous wreck.
Yes, he was.
And we'd had a curry the night before, and he was blaming it on that because he had toilet trouble. But it wasn't that, I don't think.
No,
and I could just see from his behaviour.
He couldn't eat, he couldn't drink.
He put his going out jeans on, which is so funny.
No, he looked good yesterday.
And we spent a bit of time getting ready. The robin's on the line. Look at him on the end of the line, right where the tree is. He's right in the tree, look. See him?
No, I
Right
can't.
where the line meets the tree. Watch he'll move around. You can just see his little red breast on the... There, look.
Oh yeah, no, that was a
Where
leaf.
that thing just dropped down is right next to it.
Yeah, I always can't see that.
Full of tears. The robin is my version of your dad standing behind you in the garden telling you that you've messed up the coffee machine during podcast recordings. I sat in the kitchen yesterday morning doing bits and bats, and I wanted to mention, why does Radio 2 sound so different when you're here than it does when you listen to it back in the UAE? There's something really comforting to me about Radio 2 in the UK.
Oh, yesterday they were just playing bloody sad songs.
Yeah, well, you're going to pick up on that,
No, they were,
aren't you?
and I'm thinking, why are they playing such depressing songs all day?
But I was ultra aware of anything like that. Because I thought anything might trigger you off. But I had it on in kitchen yesterday. We have it on when we're in car. I know it's a bit bloody mum and dad radio, and I don't even think the music's been that good this time around. I normally love it. But there's something really comforting to me about it. So I wanted to mention that. The other thing I wanted to mention before we get into yesterday proper is default stirring. I've just made us some drinks. Do you stir clockwise or anti-clockwise?
Auntie.
Do you think that's the default stir?
I don't know.
Because I made a mistake today. These coffee drinks that we've got, these sachets, you have to do the paste with a little bit of water in. And right at the end I thought, I'm going to put a bit of hot chocolate in. So I was trying to get... Are you doing it now, aren't you? She's
No, I'm trying to... If I was left-handed, which way I would do it.
Well, I stirred anti-clockwise frantically this morning to try and get the bits of hot chocolate to dissolve, which they obviously won't. But then I thought, oh, go the other way. Very strange to do a clockwise stir.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's that.
That's not a natural hand movement.
So back to yesterday morning then. Car got packed. It was nice to pack a car and have things fit in.
Yeah.
Because it was just Leo's stuff. And what was also nice is when we walk into cottage here, I didn't realise this till last night, we've been living with all his uni stuff packed right near the front door of the boot room here, the utility room.
Yeah.
And
it looks so much bigger now.
it's a totally different house without all that crap piled up. But we loaded the car and we set off at around, 11 o'clock yesterday morning. And as we pulled out the drive, and this is the difference between parents and kids, I just suddenly realised, I said, oh, Leo, this is the last time you're going to see this cottage.
Yeah.
And he just went, yep.
Yeah, but I thought about that and I didn't say it because I thought, you know what, he's probably not had an attachment to this cottage because
he can't wait to get out of it.
This has been the, that stepping stone to the...
It's been an 18th century prison that he can't wait to get out of because he knows there's 300 pubs down the road that he's going to be going in every night.
Yeah. He wasn't interested in...
Not interested
in the fact that...
in the emotion.
2 minutes to the left is...
Fred West.
Fred West's bodies.
How he can't be interested in that is beyond me. More on that later. We drove into Bristol. Again, traffic not too bad. We went to our favourite car park, the Nelson Street NCP, which is a minute's walk.
Is it still your favourite?
Well, it is my favourite because it's the closest and it's the one that I know how to get to without sat-nav. But yesterday, I had to go in and out of that car park 3 times. And I don't know if they're doing the same thing they do at Cheddar Gorge where you have to pay a full day. The first time we were in that car park for, I'm going to say maybe an hour. It cost me £9.50.
Yeah.
That was to drop Leo's stuff off and put it all in his rooms. Then we left to go to Ikea and Tesco and I paid £13.50. Then we came back from Ikea and Tesco and parked up again and then I paid another £13.50. So yesterday, roughly 37 quid to park in a car park for probably half a day.
England, well, UK...
Got really expensive, guys.
Yeah, the parking. Everywhere you go you have to pay for parking and it's really, really expensive. Like, that is a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we parked up. Now, the plan was that we'd got a time to move Leo in, which was 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
Now, our only experience of this was when we came into Bristol for that first time last Saturday, and we saw the mayhem in the middle of Bristol, which really put us off. But around Leo's building, there were people moving into the building next door, and there were just families and cars and mayhem everywhere. So we were expecting that.
Yeah.
We parked the car up, and I said, it's 3 hours till we're moving him in. And we were going to go and have some lunch. That was the plan.
Yeah.
I said, let's walk up past your building, see, you get the vibe. We walk up, not a soul on the pavement.
Well, there were, but it was really calm.
No, but there were no cars.
Yeah.
Where there had been probably 15, 18 double parked cars, harried parents dragging bags out. So there were barely any people. Then inside Leo's building, there's like a foyer and a central courtyard.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and there's all these happy helpers in the fluorescent jackets. I get talking to this guy, and he actually works in IT for the, I think, was it called Unite? The thing. They've got buildings all over the country.
Many of them are in Bristol.
And I get talking to him, and I said, oh, do you work here? And he said, well, I work in IT, but on these moving in days, we all pitch in and come down from different departments.
They were all really helpful.
So nice. And, you know, I expected him to be a bit patronising. He was a lovely guy. And I said, oh, we're moving him in. I'm across the road in the NCP. And he said, oh, let's get moving him now then. Which, on the one hand, was lovely to hear, but on the other hand, ruined the lunch plans for me. Because as soon as Leo heard that, he's just like, get me in, get out of here. Which I didn't want to do, because I thought that lunch was an important part of the day.
Yeah.
So then there was a little bit of tension, mainly between me and you. We walked up onto Cork Street in Bristol, where the markets are on the weekend. But I just got that overwhelming feeling that, well, Leo less than ever wanted to be with us and just wanted to get in, and you probably wanted to.
He wouldn't eat and wouldn't drink because all he could think about as well was getting to the toilet.
He was very nervous.
Yeah.
Which I understand.
And as we've mentioned before, he's not a public toilet goer.
No,
but
not
he
a
got to
public
the
lavatory.
point where he had to go. So
well, we had to talk him off the ledge. We went to Slug Lettuce for lunch, and I'm saying there will be great toilets in here. This is a clean, really nicely designed pub.
And it was
They're going to
early.
be good toilets.
It was early in the...
There were nobody in there.
No.
What are you saying? So the drunk lavatory users won't have wrecked it.
Yeah.
But we also had to tell him, because he got a text from one of his friends, one of his flatmates, saying, oh, when you come down to move in, you might hear me screaming at my parents. And he's like, oh, she really said, don't get on with the parents. And I said, well, you're probably not texting her saying that your parents are great either, but you get on with us. But she's probably going through that same thing about being embarrassed about her parents coming, you know, and just wants them out of the way as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
But do you think, do you find her embarrassing because of that? No, you don't care.
Exactly that, yeah.
So
and there were families that had mums, dads, grands, brothers and sisters. There were, and I was saying to him, look, and he's like, all right, you don't have to say it. And I was like, no, I'm just, explaining to you that you're not looking at any of these families thinking, oh, they've got their whole family with them, or...
Yeah, and we are by far we're not the coolest, but I don't think we're also in the weirdest, most embarrassing. We can be.
Yeah, we can be.
When you've had a drink and I'm on form. But we're not. So I hope that kind of got through to him, because he needed to know that we were going to be around for a while. So anyway, we rushed through a meal. Total waste of time as far as I was concerned. You did a chip advisor for Slug Lettuce. That's in the chip advisor folder on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And then we were back down to the NCP. You guys waited outside. I went and got the car, paid the £9.50, came round. You guys dumped all the bags on the curb, and I parked back up in the NCP.
Yeah.
And then it was a case of moving them all upstairs. He got his little wristband entry and things like that. And we got up to his flat.
Yeah, that was all pretty smooth. And I think he's got lucky with his room. They've got quite a nice... They've got the first floor flat.
It's a very urban area. There's a lot of... It's funny, innit? I sat in his room, we opened all the windows, and all you could hear was pneumatic drills, lorries, police. You know when you go to New York and you open your window in your hotel and that's all you hear?
Yeah, London.
And I just turned around to him and I went, listen to that, sounds of the city. And his face just lit up and I thought, when you're that age, and because he's never lived in a proper city like this, a thriving city, it's so exciting. To me and you, it'd be a headache.
Yeah, I think it's exciting when you're doing it for a holiday, but I wouldn't want to live amongst that.
So then it was a case of getting him moved in. And it was, by that point, you see, the tension was off me. I just organising stuff, putting stuff away. I was tending to do the electronics and...
Well, you were doing the cutting packets open and...
Yeah, and I was watching you. I mean, this... He's got cupboards and he's got drawers, and you're getting big piles of stuff out of his bags, like his T-shirts. The first thing, above his bed, he's got cupboards fastened to the wall, no fronts on them, so that it's like a...
Big shelving unit.
Big shelving unit, about 8 shelves, which are square-shaped.
Well, you'd missed just before that. I'd got his jumpers, and he's got this like thin shelf at the top of his wardrobe, and he literally was just pushing the jumpers in. You know when you're trying to fit something in somewhere and you just want to shut the cupboard and it never opened that cupboard again. Yeah. There was no fold. They were literally screwed up and he's like pushing them. He's like, that'll do. And I'm like, you've got to open that cupboard every day. Yeah. I said, right, let's use one of your shelves
above the bed.
Yeah, so he took them all out.
When this is the bit that I see, he climbs up on his bed and he just shoves them all in, all screwed up. He tries to put one big batch in, and then to keep it from falling out, he gets individual hoodies, screws them up into a ball and wedges them into the corners, right? And I'm watching this with a smile on my face, and I'm looking at you, and every time you're behind his shoulders, you're doing that face to me like...
Oh, it was painful. It was so painful to watch.
And I said, Leo, you do realise she's going to take all of them out and fold them back up. And he's going, I'm just putting them there, I'm going to sort them later. Which is like, you're not going to touch them jumpers for 3 years, you pillock.
Yeah, no. And like, in my mind, why would you then put them there to resort them?
So then
I said...
You give him about 50 T-shirts.
Yeah, well, I did resort them literally there and then. Yeah. That took me 2 minutes, folded.
So he did exactly the same with T-shirts. He had a pile of T-shirts a foot thick.
Yeah.
And he just opened one drawer. Yeah. And he squeezed them all into one drawer, crushing them in. And we stopped him and we said, like, I said, you do realise she's going to do that straight away again, Leo? And
then he just said to me, there's no point because they're not going to stay like that. And I was just like...
But he picked a pink long sleeve top out and it was unwearable because it was so creased. And I said, well, if you put them in like that, that's how you're going to get them out. And you know what you're going to look like if you go out with your friends or you're trying to impress, wearing a top that's that creased. You're just like a tramp. And
again, I just quickly tried to sort him out, and I could see he was getting really huffy with me about it.
I stopped you, didn't I?
Yeah, and I said, but the thing is, I said, he should be doing this now the right way. Yeah. Like, yes, knowing Leo, he is one of these, he doesn't keep things particularly tidy. He's not extremely messy, but he doesn't have care.
He's not learnt, look, I've said before, he can't tie his shoelaces. He
can tie his shoelaces. Right. He doesn't tie his shoelaces how you would want him to.
He doesn't tie his shoelaces where he's going to be able to ride his bike without falling off. That's my big concern, and that's why I'm saying it, right? Every time you see him, his shoelaces are untied. They're never tied like a human would tie shoelaces. They're loose, he doesn't tie them. I don't know why, but he just didn't take to it, right? I bet if we see him today, his shoelaces are untied. Now, my point here is, that's what he's like. So with the T-shirts, you started folding them, and I said, you need to let him fold them, or he'll never do it. And you said, but he can do it.
Well, the difference is, like, you've got Honey, who, when she does a wardrobe sort, which is a kind of a girls seem to do that a bit more, she does it perfectly. She's got one of these t-shirt folders, and she puts it in her wardrobe so neatly, but that only lasts for about a week, and then her wardrobes are a total mess again, and she gets her room really messy, but she can do it.
But when she gets to adult age, she'll be sorted.
Oh, and when she gets to moving into her uni, I know that she will fold her stuff nice and neatly. Now, Leo can do it, but because all he wanted to do was get his room done and get us out of there, he was trying to do it the fastest way possible.
Yeah.
But
his room, unless you do his room at home, his room never looks like that.
But it was annoying me that he didn't have that, or like, this is your room now. This is your,
Pride.
Yeah. And I said, like, fold them, put them in. Yes, you may not keep nobody keeps their drawers as neat as they do when they first do them. You know what I mean?
But it's so nice to have them neat.
Yeah, it is. And the fact he didn't have that was really annoying me. So I did do it, and I said, like, you should have at least be trying to keep them like this. You are an adult now. And then I could see that was annoying him. But then...
My worry is when you walk around Bristol, and it's a very studenty place, you see people who are older than student age now. I would say people in the mid-20s who are obviously not homeless, but look homeless. They're unshaven, they've got them wiry beards, they've got unkempt hair. They are probably leading a professional life. They probably work in a vegan bakery or something, right? But my worry is Leo's going to become one of them. Now, that's no disrespect to them two people, because when I was that age, most of my mates looked like that, yeah? They all look like what I would say a Glastonbury fire juggler. You know a Glastonbury fire juggler? Them trousers that you used to like, the patchwork trousers.
Yeah.
But a bit smelly.
I think, yeah.
I don't want him to be that guy. We've not brought him up to be that guy.
I tried to, when, I did his toilet, his bathroom, and I put all the cleaning stuff there, and I'm saying to him, right, use this for this, use this for this. And I know he wasn't listening to me.
No, because his head was just like this, get out, get out, get out, get out.
Yeah. And
the entire time.
Because, again, I know he's probably hardly ever going to wipe down his surfaces in his room and change his bed. I'm saying, like, there's your clean sheets, there's your clean, duvet cover.
Never get used.
No, and then we did the kitchen with him, and the kitchen's obviously, you only get a certain amount of cupboards because you've got to share that between, there's the 5 of them. So I think they had a couple of cupboards each. So I'm trying to fit it all in, but in a way where you can still get stuff out, blah, blah, blah. And I'm saying to him, right, this is where your pots and pans are and stuff like this. We've got a bit of food in that one and your glasses and cups. Yep. He's not listening. And then I'm showing him, because they've got 2 fridges, showing him, this is your food. Right, you're in, like 2 different people have got the same milk, and I'm saying, that's your milk. Again.
Not listening.
And teacher me and mum me wanted to get the marker pen and write his name on all this stuff.
Yep.
But he would have killed me if I'd done that.
He'll be doing that soon, don't worry. So we did all that, we got him in, and the next thing we popped out for a bit of a food shop. You wanted to, I didn't want to go to Tesco's with you. Oh, we spoke to the building manager on the way out, a guy called Xavier, lovely bloke, really helpful. He looked like a juggler. And he, when I first said hello to him, thought I was a student. Now, you get all the comments about looking young, right? But I think I've got a student vibe about me. Look at me jumper. I look like a Glastonbury fire juggler today. Yeah. And I had a lovely chat to him. Then you guys popped along. He told us where the best veggie burgers were. And he goes, even though I eat meat, I love this place. And I'm thinking, he
looked like a vegetarian.
Looked like a classic veggie to me.
Yeah.
But that's a Bristol vibe. And he told us, I think we were already popping in that direction, but he told us the Tesco and Ikea were right next to each other. We popped up there. I thought it's best if I don't come in Tesco, because I'll constantly be huffing and puffing about how much you're buying for Leo, right?
Yeah.
So I said, I'll go to Ikea, rather than us both do them both jobs.
Now, I think people listen to this will be like, why did you go to Tesco? Why didn't you go to Asda or Lidl or Aldi one of them? But to be honest, it was a case of the nearest big supermarket, because I wouldn't have chosen Tesco, because I think it is the equivalent of like your Spinneys, or it's your expensive one.
And actually, we've been in it a good few times since we've been back here, and I don't know if it's this Brexit thing or all these shortages everyone's on about, but it's not been great.
Oh my gosh, the shelves were so empty. It was, and we have been hearing this on the radio that, you know, it's
but
awful.
Also, we had a ticking time bomb teenager in the car.
Yeah.
And at some point, there was going to be a massive fight, right? So we needed to get everything done. So don't judge us for going to Tesco.
Well, then the first thing was you dropped us all off. Betsy decided to come with us to Tesco because she thought, I'll get more goodies in Tesco's than I will in Ikea. Of course you
will, as a child.
So she came with me and Leo. You went off to Ikea. You drove away. I forgot to take my bags, the shopping bags, and then I also didn't realise you have to put £1 to get your trolleys. So I was like, I have literally no change.
Yeah.
So in the end, we found the
one that you can put twins in.
Twin baby trolleys you don't need a coin for. So we had to, and they are so heavy.
When I saw you, I'm like, I thought you'd bought them seats. I'm like, why she bought baby seats for Leo? Anyway.
Bessie's going, can I get in one? And I'm like, nope, let's just get this done.
So I left you to it. I went to Ikea. Normally in Ikea, we're Target Market. Everybody in Ikea in Dubai looks like us.
Yeah.
A woman with a list and a guy who wishes it could be somewhere else. That's normally what you have in Ikea. I felt like the old man of the sea. Everybody in Ikea was a student.
Well, same in Tesco's. Obviously, they'd all got this thing from one of the guys.
One of the Xaviers.
Yeah. Nearest Tesco, nearest supermarket is. So everywhere was just mum and dad and child, or mum and child, or son, you know, and it was just everyone doing exactly the same thing.
My Ikea shop was easy. And guess what I did? I memorised it in a little song, which I won't be able to remember now, but I'll go in. Plant pot, extension lead frames. Plant pot, extension lead frames. Plant pot, extension. And I did it the whole way around the store, and every time I got one, so it were like,
I did write you a little list.
Frames. Plant pot frames. And then it were frames. So I got them all.
Well,
pretty easy.
I didn't, which is shocking. I didn't write a list for the supermarket because I felt like there was going to be too much I needed to get. And I thought, you know, probably the easiest thing, which is why it was annoying me, that it wasn't a full supermarket. The shelves were empty. You know, so I thought, right, I'll just do the up and down as quick as we can. First one we go up, full of deodorants and so it was women's shower gels, women's deodorants. They've split the men's ones up, and so then I'm spending the next 2 minutes trying to find where are the men's deodorants, and I couldn't find them. They were down with the nappies on like 4 aisles up. Now that winds me up.
If that winds you up, how much must it wind up these young Bristol living people who now, of course, you've got men's, women's, non-binary,
exactly,
non-gender.
Well, I did think about all that, and I thought, why not just have them all? Like, and you know, Leo's going, I'll just have one of the women's deodorants, and I mean, I sometimes use yours, sometimes use mine, no issue. But it was just the fact that they weren't there that was annoying me more than anything.
You and Leo, I wasn't there, but you told me later that you'd had a bit.
It was on the stationery aisle. I remembered. That's where, because he's saying to me, I'm saying, oh, like, you know, you get your pack of Bic pens. So I was just going to get a pack of them. I was like, do you want the all black ones, or do you want mixed colours? Nope, just get me black pens. And then I'm like, should I get you a folder? Like,
yeah,
I won't need a folder. And I'm like,
oh, he said before we left that he was never going to write again. I don't need stationery, I'll never write again.
But I was like, what if they do give you like worksheets and stuff? Where are they going? Like, they won't give us worksheets.
He said that, didn't he? He said he'll never use stationery again. He's from the future.
Perhaps just get one folder just in case. And then I'm like, we get to the like notepads, A4 pads. Do you want a notepad? Nope. Why not? Because I won't be writing anything down. I went, Leo, at some point you will be right. And literally we're having an argument about paper.
Not in the future.
And it's not like I'm saying you have to buy that notepad. It's me saying I am buying you, and I'll buy you 6 notepads if you need them.
Yeah.
But he was arguing with me.
See, this is why I couldn't come on that shopping trip. Because if I'd have come on that shopping trip, I'd have been saying, if you don't want it, don't get it for him.
Yeah.
And you and I would have ended up arguing. So I'm so glad I'm not there.
So, and it was just like, and then I'm like, do you need, a couple of pencils? Because sometimes writing with, no, I don't need pencils. I was like, right, okay. So then that gets rid of sharpeners and rubbers. So I don't need them. I'm like, highlighters? No, I'll never use a highlighter. And I was like, well,
ever again.
What about your textbooks where you get to highlight? No, I'll never do that.
Yeah, textbooks, not from the future.
So when you sat in lectures and you want to take notes, I will take notes on my computer. All right, okay. What about if you want to write lists and stuff like that? And it was.
I'll use me VR headset.
It's just, it was so frustrating, and
I'm so glad I wasn't there for this.
And so in the end, I didn't, because I'd already got him an A4 pad. So we literally got pens and a pad. That was it, because he was refusing that he'll ever write again.
Yep.
Which I find that so bizarre for somebody that's just about to do a 3-year academic course.
This is again the 18-year-old dickhead in him.
And so there was that tension, and I didn't want tension, and then. So anyway, it was just literally, and I was like, do you want to get any treats? No.
He's going to learn to regret that one.
Exactly. I'm saying to him, but you might not feel like it now, but in a few days' time when you want bloody Jaffa cake.
Yeah.
Anyway.
See, this is where I teach him a lesson, but this is where your mum instincts think, well, I'll get it all for him anyway.
Well, I didn't. I didn't
won't
get it all for him.
appreciate it for him.
I just got him a couple of bits, but.
So very different emotions when we got back together then.
Sorry.
There's the morning cough, guys. I know you wait for it. Very different emotions because you were tense because of this, and I was very sad because as I went round IKEA, they've got all the Christmas stuff in.
Yeah.
And I love Christmas. I definitely love Christmas in the UK, and I instantly had that fantasy again of, I could be buying Christmas stuff to do this cottage up that's fantasy, our cottage, or even to do up Fred West's murder farm up as our cottage. And so when I met up with you, I'm feeling all melancholy and you're all stressed out. And then it was loading the car up, back to Bristol, back to the NCP at Nelson Street for another £13.50.
Yeah.
And another drop-off on the double yellow lines.
Yeah.
And then we were back in his room for what, 2 hours? Hour and a half, 2 hours?
Maybe not quite that long, but yeah.
Do you know what he kept doing? Like, we'd propped his door open. Now everybody else was in by now, all his other student friends in his little flat that he's in. And Betsy Pearl wants to meet them all. She's dead excited. Where's Paige? Where's Paige? I want to meet Paige. Where's Paige? She's obsessed by Paige just because Paige has got a silly name, right? And what Leo kept doing is, I'm going to go and get a glass of water. We're sorting everything out in his room. I'm going to go and get a glass of water. And he's closing the door behind him, so we're shutting his room, the embarrassing parents.
Yeah.
He must think I'm stupid. He's got a sink in his room.
But the funny thing was, I was stood in the kitchen at one point, I think unloading the food shopping, and in walks Toby and his mum and dad. And Toby is the only other guy in the flat.
Yep.
And he's like, Toby's all confident. Hi, how are you? And I'm like, hi. And I'm like, I'm Leo's mum. He's like, you're Leo's mum. And he was so excited.
Yep.
Because he was like, obviously Leo and him have had a little bond already because they are the only two lads. And he's like, and then his mum's like, hi, and introduces herself and her husband, and they're all like chatting away. And so then Leo walks in about 5 minutes later.
Like Kevin and Perry.
And he's like, they're all
What
talking.
are you doing?
Yeah. But
you know
actually,
why? Because Leo will have spun him the Batman yarn. He'll have said, both my parents were murdered when I was younger.
No, but then actually Leo softened a bit and, joined in the conversation. But, and like as I said, the mum was like, we'll be back down, don't worry. Leo will be sick of us soon. And their son was like all chilled about it. And I think...
This is the thing with Leo.
But I think...
Although you're like this to some degree, and I am, so you stress so much about some things. Like I stress so much every time I get on stage with a microphone, then I get on, and it's an absolute breeze when I'm up there, and I don't know what I worry about.
You do actually, you get really stressed
I get
before
so stressed.
Live gigs.
But all the best entertainers do, Laura.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Anyway, we got him moved in, I hung his pictures up for him.
They look lovely.
I asked him if he could go down and ask Xavier, the building manager, who said he had everything, if he could get me a spirit level. So Leo decided to ask all the girls in his flat for a spirit level. Now, I'm not being sexist, dear. I wasn't expecting any of the girls in his flat to have brought a spirit level to university.
Well, considering one of them asked for scissors.
Yeah. And
he did go downstairs.
But he didn't ask the right person.
He probably
came
didn't.
back,
He probably
asked
didn't.
the receptionist, she's not going to have one. And he asked one of them girls who were moving stuff in. So we had to hang his pictures using our eyes alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're all right.
They look great. And I think by the end of it, his room looked great and he was chuffed. And
you can see a picture of him on my Instagram, but this is pre-pictures going up of him in his room, and you can see how tidy it is. And I captioned it, "This room will never look like this again." On Sunday, when we're going to pick him up,
he's got a decent sized room actually.
Nice. Everyone's saying this on the messages.
Yeah.
When we're going to pick him up, I'm going to take another photograph of that room, and I bet already it looks like it's been burgled.
And it will smell funky.
Ooh,
perish
the thought.
So he literally, like, even when it came to the hug, it was a.
He's walking you backwards as he's hugging you like towards door.
Which is not like Leo, because Leo's actually quite a sensitive person. You know, he's quite an emotional person. Out of, all three of them, he is quite a sensitive soul.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, he let himself down yesterday, and it's knowing him, it's understandable, and knowing him, he won't regret it now. But I'll tell you what, in 7 or 8 years, and that's when it happened to me with my parents, he'll look back and think, God, I was such a tool bag to him that day. And he will.
It's funny because, I know there were kids being dropped off that were really emotional, and the parents were really emotional, and I was kind of glad he wasn't like that, because I think that would have been really, really hard.
But it would have been a bit of closure, because you need that closure. You're sat crying now.
But yeah, I think. But then on the flip side, I didn't want him to be as he was, where he was just like, yeah, not going to miss you, get out the door, go, go, go. I wanted somewhere in the middle where I felt like, hey, Mum, I am going to miss you, like.
You needed that.
Yeah, I did a bit.
And you didn't get it.
No, I'm going to start crying again.
And we walked out the building, we left him to it, we said his goodbyes. I sent you out so I could have a bit of a man talk with him. The details of which you don't need to know. And then, as we walked out the building, I don't know if you saw this, the funniest thing, because you're seeing people, mums and dads, carrying stuff in.
Yeah.
Now, in context, when you see a mum, a dad, a teenage son or daughter all carrying big bags or whatever, we carried a big piano in and things like that. If you're all together, it's all like a student family we're winning. If you're one of them dads on their own, you're suddenly not in context. As we walked onto the street, there was a dad. Now I'm 50. This guy must have been in his mid-60s, possibly pushing 70. He was a little old bald man.
Yeah.
Looked like a mole. And under his arm, he had a skateboard. It looked so funny because I was like, he looked like Johnny Knoxville doing one of his old man, bad grandpa jackass sketches. So then we were out on the street, and yeah, I think it hit you then. We went for a walk.
I just felt flat again.
And you said this is when you told me about what had happened in the supermarket, and I think you felt a bit, you weren't resentful, but you felt a bit sad that you didn't get.
Well, because Leo and I are actually really close.
Yeah, you are.
We're so close, and,
I think if he knew how much he hurt you yesterday, he'd be devastated.
No, I think he would. And I think that's part of the reason I was just trying to not get angry back and not get emotional and not get sad, because I wanted him just to enjoy it.
Yeah, because it's not about us. I mean,
Exactly
it is about us, but it's not about us. And I knew the about us bit would come once you were out the way. You've got to let him do this bit.
Yeah.
Every parent knows that. But you did. We probably walked a couple of miles and you were letting that out. You did well, though. I'm really proud of you, because I know the worst is yet to come, but you handled it well. So we walked through Bristol as day became night. We walked down to the harbour and we met up with the Mullins, who'd gone through the same thing. Regularly mentioned on this podcast. their son had been a lot more emotional. He's
Yeah.
at the same uni but at a different campus to Leo, and apparently he'd been very emotional, very clingy, and they're doing that thing. Every time we've spoken to him recently, they're saying, well, Richie, his dad, has said, I've told him, if in a month you're not liking it and you want to come home, come on. You don't, or if you want to do a different course, tell me and I'll get on that. Which I think they really...
Oh, no.
I don't think they want him to come home, but I almost feel like they're such a tight family, as are we.
It is that thing of, if Leo had turned around and went, Mum, I don't want to do this, I want to come home.
You wouldn't have got sense that. You'd have had him in that car.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Even if we had to pay the full 3 years, you'd have gone, come on, live with me for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Back on the bottle. So we met them, we went to Picture and Piano, another Chip Advisor review.
Well, I didn't order chips, I was forced to eat.
You were forced to do a Chip Advisor. Is that going to be one of the chapters in your biography, how you were abused into eating chips?
Yeah.
We had a meal and accompanied, sometimes you land lucky. We were accompanied by live music.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, this is a line of bars. It's called the Watershed, M Shed, something like that.
Yeah.
It's along the first part of the harbour.
Yeah.
And it's a line of about, 15 pubs and a cinema, and it's all cool. And it's packed full of people. And they're all playing trendy music inside. Yet they allow buskers right outside the restaurant where you're sitting
And this wasn't
with
any
amplifiers.
busker. This wasn't your Ed Sheeran busker. This
was a guy 60 years old at least.
Yeah. And
Little old grandad with a microphone and a little distorted amplifier, playing backing tracks to some of the biggest hits of the last 40 years.
well, let's just say singing wasn't his thing.
He was shouting every song. The most ironic one he shouted was The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Just drunkenly blasting out these songs.
And he was literally swaying. He had the sway on.
It sounds awful. It enhanced our evening so much. We loved it.
We were singing along to Sweet Caroline, but
well, every song, it took you a while to figure out what it were.
Yeah, and you could hear other tables going, "Oh, it's
Yeah, and we sat at a lovely meal, big veggie platter for us, and Betsy Pearl had the Mullins girls to play with, which is always lovely for her. She gets so excited to see them.
Yeah,
and
it was a chance for us all to kind of like let go of what had happened that day, and
I think it was nice for you to have another mum to talk to and me to have another dad to talk to. I think that was really nice.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we'd had slightly different experiences.
Yeah.
So, I think in some ways that was quite nice, because I was saying, don't worry, your son will be fine, and they were saying, don't worry, he'll feel that emotion. It will hit him at some point, So we were, But anyway, it was lovely to have a little drink, and I was the only one drinking as usual.
What a surprise!
But
when I ordered your drink, see, at the Picture and Piano, you order your food at your table, lovely waitress, but you have to order your drinks inside, which is ridiculous.
Annoying, yeah.
I go inside, and I'm just having a hot chocolate. You've ordered the campest drink on the menu. What was it called?
Strawberry and rose.
Cosmo.
Yeah.
Strawberry and rose cosmopolitan. I say to the guy behind the bar, he almost visibly takes a step back. He gets the shakers out. He gets all the tools out, all silverware. He puts
Did he do the Tom Cruise?
He was doing flair bar staffing, chucking stuff about. And he's doing it for my benefit, right? Now, I imagine if there's a gaggle of women at the bar, that's such a good thing. It's like Cocktail, like you said. It's fun to watch. For me, it's not fun to watch.
Awkward.
It's awkward. I'm looking at my phone as he's doing it like that. Oh, please let this end, please let this end. You know what I did while he was doing it? I set up my Apple Pay on my Barclay card. That's what I did to take my mind off it. Because I thought, I want to pay for this in a way that gets me out of this bar as quickly as possible. Yeah, so he did all that.
It was a very sexy drink.
He's chucking the drink about. I don't know if you've seen this on my Instagram, because it's on there yesterday. He branded the cocktail. So on top of the cocktail, it's like, enjoy your drinks at Picture and Piano. On the top of the cocktail in the foam.
Yeah. My only complaint would be it wasn't quite big enough. It was very small.
Very small glass. It was like a doll's house glass.
For the price, once again.
And for you, I mean, you like a goldfish bowl full of drink, don't
Well,
you?
yeah. And I was sat there, like I say, the only one drinking alcohol. And I'm thinking, I'd drunk the first one. And then I'm like, I really want another drink. But
No, I weren't going back into that bar. Now, during this conversation, you're giving me the finger, right? We don't have to talk about it, but we're going to mention at least what happened because this is prime podcast material. You unearthed a secret.
no.
No, you did.
No, I didn't. It wasn't.
I think. Right, we will not even say what it is about or the people involved.
No, right. No, you're making this bigger than it is.
I'm not making it bigger than it is.
No,
Well, you say it in a simple way.
Well, basically, something had been told to them and they had totally missed it. And I just said, perhaps you want to...
Relook at the evidence.
Yeah. And then they went, oh, yes. So...
They didn't just go, yes.
No. Well, they didn't, but...
Shelley was so shocked. For I'd say for half an hour, she sat with her mouth open opposite us and massive eyes, and I were going, I'm so sorry. I'm very embarrassed about this. I am so sorry, because I felt
I think it was a happy shock.
Well, I felt like in that 5 minutes there, it almost felt like we'd broken the originator's trust and we'd broken their trust as not being the friends enough to tell them originally.
Yeah, but
I hope
she knows why I didn't tell her, but yeah, it was...
I don't know how deep that water is next to us. Otherwise, I would have Fosbury flopped over them bars into the sea and swam to America.
No, and I and because of how she was feeling yesterday, I thought it would cheer her up. And so, anyway, and then I did get a text last night to say, oh, yeah, you were absolutely right. Oh, my goodness.
So it's all been... I can't wait to see him again to find out what the outcome is.
I said, let me know how it goes.
Anyway, that's that. We left them. It was really nice to see him. I think we needed it. You know, there was a bit of me when we were organising it with them that afternoon. I'm thinking, do I just want to go home? It's been a tiring day. I'm a bit exhausted. I'm so glad we met up with them. It was really nice. We walked back through Bristol, me, you and Betsy Pearl. And it felt like it was just the three of us. We felt like a smaller unit, didn't we? Yeah,
and it had that... What I did think, though, you know how places change at night time? And it had that slightly unnerving feel because it was a city at night.
I said this as we were walking, it's a very thriving city. I think it's more bustling than London or New York at night.
Yeah, it doesn't go to sleep.
Both of them places seem to quieten down in the evenings to me, unless you're in somewhere like Camden or, you know.
But
that place never stops.
There were groups of lads, and I felt uncomfortable walking, which is very apt when you think about what's happened recently with the teacher, and that thing of people saying, you know, a woman shouldn't have that feeling.
I don't think that's something. Sadly, I don't think that will ever go away.
And me as a grown woman walking past a group of 18 to 21-year-old lads felt uncomfortable, and
I get it.
And you know, and I'm holding Betsy really tight near me, I had that feeling, which I think as a mum leaving her child in that city had a bit of like. He'll grow up and he's got some growing up to do. Yeah.
So we walked through the town. It's as thriving as it was in the middle of the day. It doesn't slow down, Bristol. And we walked back. Obviously, we'd parked right next to Leo's flats. So we walked back down that road, and we walked past his kitchen window. Looks right out on the road. We had no idea where he was, if he was in there or anything. Betsy Pearl went and stood under the window, and then she's shouting something, not to the window, but shouting to us, and you shouted her back, and then we quickly scurried off, and I thought, I imagine Leo's sitting in there and heard us, and just went like, oh my God. So we paid another small fortune to get out the NCP.
Yeah.
We drove home.
I did get a text on the way home, by the way.
Oh, this is prime 18-year-old dickhead again.
Well, I thought, Leo's texted me, because like I said, I purposely didn't text him.
And you'd been feeling so down.
And then,
and you know, and this thing about you wish you had a slightly different relationship or he appreciated you. And then he texted you to make it all feel better. And he said,
where's the tea towels? I was like...
I almost swore then.
And bearing in mind, I had literally, just before I left, said, can I just show you again where everything is? Because I knew he wasn't listening to me, so it was a pointless exercise.
No,
and
he just wanted us out.
So it was a bit like...
Where are the tea towels? And if that were me, if you had texted that to me...
Not even a kiss at the end of it.
It makes you so cross. This stupidity of youth, innit? Anyway, that happened.
Picked up some more wood on the way
We drove
home.
home in the dark. Now, once you get off the motorway here, there's no street lights. It's proper dark. We called at the garage, and now we're back in spooky Fred West territory.
Well, I think, we've been spooked ever since, but being in the dark...
Got in the garage, and I busted for a wee, and I had to have a wee round back at garage in that little toilet they have there.
I wasn't getting out of the car.
And then I went into the garage, and the garage was deserted. There was no attendant. I picked up some bags of wood for the fire.
And you're thinking, what's happened to the attendant?
And I'm stood there, and because I've got the Fred West place that we're driving past on the way home, and it's pitch black everywhere, I feel really spooked. I can't hear any noise. I can't hear somebody in the back. There's nobody behind the counter. Like, I'm thinking for shoplifting purposes, this is a dream come true. I could have done a supermarket sweep. But it took a while. And then when it was a woman, when she finally did appear, I said, "You still? What time do you close?" And they closed in about 20 minutes, so she's probably doing whatever she has to do towards the end of her shift. But yeah, that freaked me out. And then we drove home.
The way Trevor McDonald.
We followed the Trevor McDonald path from the Fred West documentary.
Yeah.
Well, obviously we said the other day it's a different drive once you know what happened down that road. But when it's pitch black down a single lane country road that's weaving around, and the maddest thing last night, the timing of this, the moon had just come up. It was the reddest moon I've ever seen. It couldn't have felt any more like a horror film if we tried. And as we drove down this country lane, you take a left from the power station onto the road where the old mill is. It sounded like a Scooby-Doo plot, this. And as we turned left, on a road that we'd only driven down the day before, there was all road barriers and it said road closed except for access. And I'm like, oh, now I'm going down a road and we're going to have to try and do a 3-point turn outside this mill in the pitch black. So I'm actually freaking out, which is weird because I don't believe in ghosts.
No, it just...
And you were like, do not stop this car. And as we passed it, it was just really freaky, wasn't it?
Well, it's funny, like you'd said earlier that how a building can look so...
Charming.
It was charming, it was quite idyllic. And as we said, we were looking at, trying to find out who the owners were so we could look at if they were thinking about selling it. To now looking at it, and I don't have that feeling about it, obviously,
That's
at
a
all.
horror, no, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was it, really. We came home. I think the day had taken its toll on us. We came in the house, we had cups of tea.
The fire wouldn't light.
Couldn't get the fire going properly. We had a little cuddle on the sofa.
Too damp.
We tried to watch Taskmaster, but we were too sleepy. We were missing bits of it. We went upstairs. We had to drag Betsy's mattress into our room because she'll normally jump in bed with us, but this bed's not big enough. For Starfish Betsy, it's not big enough.
And she's been sharing a room with Leo. They've done that out of choice. So, but yeah. So she was with us last night, and yeah, it was a...
That was it. That was yesterday, guys. Very emotional day. And
this has been a long one, hasn't it?
I don't think it has. I don't think it's that long. But thanks for listening. We've not made a plan for today. It's Friday. I kind of feel like we're probably going to go into Bristol most days between now and leaving, because I feel like we need a bit of stimulation so we're not just sitting around thinking.
Oh no, yeah, we've talked about maybe doing the steam railway, the Avon.
Quite fancy that. That'd be nice. Is that close, is it?
No, I don't think it's too far.
So we're obviously going to carry on with the podcasts until we travel back. We'll be doing them after that as well, but we're going to be seeing Leo again on Sunday, which is going to be very interesting. Mm-hmm. We are going to head in town definitely on Saturday because I want to have another look at it on a Saturday to see if it freaks me out as much and see what the markets are like and maybe treat ourselves to a bit of stuff. And
you know what? I've got that feeling of as well because we're going to have to go back to reality and like admin and...
Oh, I'm getting so many expos about to start in Dubai.
Yeah.
I think it's starting this week. And my company's heavily involved, I think with the official broadcaster or something. So I'm going to be down there quite a bit. And obviously if I was in Dubai now, I'd be heavily involved in it all. But you know when you're away from work and there's a lot of work emails coming, I'm not reading them because I'm on holiday.
Yeah.
But I see them all coming. And the problem for me is going to be, have you ever jumped off a moving bus? Have you ever jumped off or a roundabout that's going so fast that your feet hit the ground and you're running but your body's not ready to run?
Yeah.
That's what going back's like for me.
Yeah.
I'm currently in holiday stationary mode. I'm calm, but the world is still going.
Well, it's been a weird one because I don't think it, as we've said all along, this hasn't been a holiday.
No.
You know, it's the whole way through. Every day we've had to do either admin or buying stuff for Leo, and even now because we've still got bits to get, and it's been a little bit stressful at times as well, but we've had to forget about real life, if you like. But it's approaching, and I got a text from Honey yesterday. Can I go to a party on Thursday?
Yeah.
Because we'll be back then, and it finishes at 2 a.m. and it's on the Palm and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, you can't stay on a party till 2 a.m. on the Palm. No, but you can go. So I'm already having to do.
And Honey as well. This is the entitled brat thing about Dubai kids. She's texting us yesterday as we're going through this really emotional day, 3,500 miles away. I'm going to Dubai Opera tonight, can you get me an Uber? And I'm driving the car, you're trying to do it and it's not working because you're abroad, it won't let you do it. And I'm like, what? You've left her with a pile of money, tell her to get a bloody taxi. Phone a taxi. So frustrating for me.
Yeah, she was going on a date.
Yeah.
He'd bought her a ticket to see Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which is, every dad hearing that, alarm bells are ringing.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Nah, that's, you know.
Have you forgotten?
No.
I honestly think, you look at the rose-tinted glasses, all these, suddenly, every 16, 17, 18-year-old boy is not after the same thing. Of course they are.
But still, he's given her a ticket to Mamma Mia. When back in my day,
I bet he has.
It was, do you want to go and hang out at the shops?
No, it isn't. Snogging Woods.
Oh.
You're down in Snogging Woods straight away. Now imagine it, because how much you like theatre, imagine if a boy had come along and gone, hello lady, would you like to come to Mamma Mia at the Mayflower Theatre?
Yeah, I'd have been right chuffed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Straight in bogs on
There's
your
no back seats in the theatre.
Straight to the nearest woods.
Nah.
I reckon Mamma Mia tickets when you were that age would have got the full Monty.
Oh my God, shut up.
See you tomorrow, everybody.
Bye.
The end.